Thank you all for your comments in YouTube and Facebook. We are monitoring everything. Sunil Gupta says, a lack of time, and Bhaskar Patel says, too many other things to do. Yes, thank you to both of you. This is perhaps one of the most common excuses that people have. They say, I can't practice spirituality because my life is hectic. My life is demanding. There's so many things I have to attend to. Once a person came to me and he said, are you married? I said, no. He said, do you have a job? I said, no. He said, do you have a household and bills to pay? I said, no. He said, do you have children? I said, no. He said, therefore, because you've said no to every one of these questions, you have yes when it comes to time. That was quite a good argument. I wasn't sure how to respond, but then I looked back at him and said, was Arjun married? Yes. Did Arjun have a family? Yes. Did Arjun have a household to run? Yes. Did Arjun have a career and a job and a duty to perform in the world? Yes. Did Arjun have time for spirituality? Yes. In the first chapter of the Gita, we systematically see how this excuse of not having time just doesn't stand up. There are 640 million soldiers on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. They are arranged like pieces on a chessboard. There are millions of soldiers, there are millions of fighters, animals, there are thousands of chariots. The atmosphere is like fever pitch, adrenaline is running. The conches are blowing and the sound of all the conches is deafening. And in the midst of all of that is Arjun, who is probably the most important person on the whole battlefield. So many expectations, so much pressure on him. Everything, all eyes are on Arjun because he is the supreme archer. And in the middle of all of that intensity, what does Arjun say to Krishna? Senayor ubayor madhye ratam stapaya mechuta yavadetam niriksheham yodhukamanavastitan. Arjun, in the middle of this intensity, says to Krishna, Senayor ubayor madhye ratam stapaya mechuta. Krishna, take my chariot to the middle of the battlefield so that I can spend some time reflecting on what is just about to happen. Can any of us say we have a more intense, more chaotic, more demanding situation than Arjun? We can't. And therefore, the excuse of not having time is not an excuse that's acceptable. In our life today, I want to share with you a super important mantra. In life, it's not about having time. It's about making time. If you were to embark on a journey to Scotland in your car and someone asked you, did you go to the petrol station to fill up fuel? And you looked at them and said, I didn't have time. Imagine you were about to walk into an exam, and as you were walking in, someone asked you, did you revise? And you say, I didn't have time. Imagine you took a pizza out of the freezer and you were just about to eat it, and someone said, did you put that in the oven to heat it up? And you look at them and say, I didn't have time. In each of these situations, the person would look at you and think you're crazy. These things are so important that it's not a question of having time. It's a question of making time is absolutely necessary. Before we decide our goals in life, our direction, what we want to invest time, energy, and resource into, what our cherished aspirations are, first we need to understand what is life about. For that, we need to make time to read spiritual books. We need to make time to associate with spiritual people. And we need to make time to ask spiritual questions. And more importantly, hear the answers that come back. In 2021, we want you all, myself included, to ensure that we have time for spirituality. Life is fast, life is hectic, and life is not going to get any slower. At the moment, we're in lockdown. And maybe when the world opens up, we'll be going at double speed, double pace. But today, on the day of Gita Jayanti, on the eve of 2021, a new year, let us make a resolution that we will make time for spirituality just as Arjun made time for spirituality. Otherwise, our life, what direction is it leading in? I leave you with a quote by Dalai Lama, who was once asked, what amazes you most about people? And you know his answer? He said, people sacrifice their wealth, sacrifice their health to get wealth. Then later on, they spend that wealth to get their health back. People are so much thinking about the future that either live in the present nor the future. People live as though they'll never die, and they die as though they've never lived. Let us make sure we don't die as though we've never really lived. Let us make sure we don't die without really fulfilling our deepest aspiration and deepest calling of the heart. And in order to ensure that that doesn't happen, we have to make time. Arjun made time. There's no excuse for us not to make time.